I'm originally from Colorado, and I worked with the U.S. Postal Service, and they sent me to Oklahoma for training at their National Training Institute. And I liked it out here, so I applied for a job, and I got hired. And so I moved out here in 1981. And I had a neighbor, I lived about 2 doors down. He worked for the Norman Police Department. His name was Sergeant Tony Bryant. And he's probably well known to a lot of our retired folks that came from Norman. But he talked me into coming out to the Sheriff Department. Because I wanted to shoot law enforcement competition matches. So I came out and I applied to the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Office. At that time it was under Sheriff Kennedy. And it wasn't much of an application back then. It was just a short test, I think, and a lie detector test, and an MMPI, and that was it. And as soon as the person got done with the lie detector test, he took me into the sheriff's office, and the sheriff said, "Okay, you're a deputy." He gave me 4 silver buttons and a badge, and that was it. That was my first issue. I never did shoot competition. I got involved with the sheriff office, and I liked what I was doing so much that I never got around to shooting competition. And I think if I would have not been so well paid where I was, I certainly would have been in law enforcement, because I love it. So it was a way that I could do what I really wanted to do and still have a pretty good living. Only places I haven't worked within the sheriff's office is dispatch, which I kind of refuse to do. Those people are amazing. I don't know how they do it. And I'm sure that I couldn't do it. And detectives. I've never done that. But I have served in, I think, just everything else that every other department they've had. And I've kind of done kind of concentrated on different things depending on my age. When I was young, I did a lot of patrol. I did a lot of field work, other kinds of field work. I worked some with the deputies who are out in the county looking for drugs and things like that. And as I've matured, I'll say, I've gone to less strenuous work and tried to stay within the things that I know that I'm capable of. And now, pretty much I do courthouse and civil now, exclusively. I think when I think back on the sheriff's office, I'm thinking mostly of the people I worked with, reserves and full-timers. And a lot of them have passed on now, and some of the things that we got into. And one funny story is there was a guy named Andy Bozeman. He also worked at the post office where I did. He's a reserve. He'd been in quite a while by the time I joined the sheriff's office. And we were working the Lions Fair that's held right over here by the railroad tracks. And there was a big fight broke out. And of course, back then there was no fences or anything. You could run right across the railroad tracks. And we ran as fast as we could and got over there. And we got a hold of a couple guys and started questioning them. And the guy said, "Well, we just witnessed it. I don't know why you stopped us." And Andy said, "Well, you're the only ones we could catch." when I retired, I had all that time, and luckily I had this to fill that time for me. And then plus I lost my wife a few years ago, and this has really gotten me through that, because I can come out here, spend time with my friends and my family here at the sheriff's office, and that got me through that point of my life. I'm really beginning to appreciate that when he says things are going to change and this is what we're going to do, that it really happens. And I've not served under another sheriff like that.